Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rock Roll podcast. Check out this record. My name is Frank, and with me is my good buddy, Mark.
Hey, Frank, and hello, listeners.
Woo! You can find
you.
us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and you can see these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mugs on YouTube.
I don't know where he is, so I'm pointing to him. You're
here.
only going to get this brilliant comic gold if you're watching on YouTube.
Right, exactly.
But when does this charmingly fun little podcast get released so you can hear it sizzle as it comes off the presses? That's a great question. Thanks for putting up with me asking it. Lucky for us, new episodes drop each and every Friday. Maybe you can ask Frank about some of the special things we've got cooking for you.
Oh, yeah, we like to cook for sure. And if you're hearing us for the first time, you're probably not annoyed with one of our past reviews. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah, give us time.
Yeah, give us time. We review records track by track, lots of musical discussion, spotlight episodes, even some mysteries. We've only scratched the surface, and we're just getting warmed, Mark.
That's right. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and even our Facebook group.
Yes.
Hopefully these episodes will leave you wanting more of our musical goodness and some of my personal random nonsense that I like to come up with. Oh, yeah. If you've got a record you want us to check out, drop us a comment wherever you found us. While you're at it, like, subscribe, and give us a review.
Yeah.
That tells us how great we are, or just don't do it.
Yeah. So I say this, Mark.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the Rolling Stones.
No.
Or we're not going to talk about Guns N' Roses. But if we take one word from each of those bands, Mark, you get the Stone Roses.
Oh, man, I thought we were going to talk about the Rolling Pistols.
Not quite.
Okay.
But now, listen, that's not how the inception of the band came to be, because they existed 2 years prior to the formation of Guns N' Roses. But to my point is that the Stone Roses, although massive in the UK, Mark, are probably somewhat unknown in the US. Mark, I know you've heard the name before, but never really paid them attention. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I couldn't really say. I just feel like maybe they hit the years between me being like conscious about music for myself and when they would have been part of the mainstream zeitgeist. I think it's just I happened to just miss the window. We're talking about the late 80s, early 90s when they're really starting to get cooking. And I was just a kid, so I think I just missed them there, dude.
Yeah. I mean, and that makes sense. So, Mark, you're going to hop along with me. We're going to take a trip, okay?
Oh, I would love to take a nice trip.
We're going to Manchester, England.
Oh, Manchester, where the men are men and the Chesters are Chesters.
The Chesters are always Chesters, my friend. And this is the year 1980. So let's talk about that, because singer Ian Brown and guitarist John Squire, they knew each other from grammar school, and they formed a short-lived Clash-inspired band called The Patrol.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now they played some gigs, and Ian Brown, who's actually playing bass at the time, would sing a song to close out the set. So he sold his bass, he bought a scooter, and here, Mark, we have our lead singer. After some other band incarnations, John Squire came up with the name The Stone Roses. Now, there's speculation, of course, that there's a link to the Rolling Stones, but Brown would say that Squire was just trying to find two contrasting words. Mark, while we're at it, do you like the name The Stone Roses? And did they sound like anything you expected them to sound like?
So I like the name. It sounds like something that takes a lot of work to make. Like a stone rose. I imagine that's just like the most crafty craftsmanship you can come up with.
Sounds hard. Yeah.
Yeah. However, I wasn't expecting so much like kind of 80s pop.
Right.
I thought they were going to sound a little like the New York Dolls or the Black Crows or some other fake late 90s or late 80s rock sound. I wasn't expecting them to be a real band. I really thought it was going to be one of those like record label generated garbage late 80s. We're just throwing as much as we can into a pot to see what sticks.
Right.
And this isn't that at all. I mean, maybe after this album, but I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Yes.
This this was just like fun, over the top, bubblegum ridden pop music, and I just sank in and I enjoyed it. This is way cooler than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, totally, totally.
I hope that answered your question.
It sure did, my friend. So let's talk. So they played their first gig in '84, supporting Pete Townsend at a anti heroin concert in London.
See, I'm pro heroin.
There you go. So missed the boat there. The show was seen by journalists, and the band received, of course, management offers. Fast forward to '86, Brown and Squire started collaborating more on songwriting, and in December of '86, they recorded their first demo, taking on an influence from the bands such as Jesus and Mary Chain and Primal Scream. Their single "Sally Cinnamon" was selling out. So we have this revolving door of bandmates, but now we're in the year 1988, and the debut record hasn't even been released yet. But they're obviously gaining popularity. That year in May, the band played a high-profile concert where a young Liam Gallagher was there, and that inspired him to start a band. Of course, brother Noel stated he was inspired by attending one of the Stone Roses gigs as well. So here we are, Mark, in 1988, and the band released their self-titled record. Now, before we get to the album, Mark, we must discuss a show that the band played in May of 1990 at Spike Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This event was considered a failure at the time due to sound problems. However, the band became legendary over the years due to the Stone Roses performance and the fact that the youth attending that event were on an insane amount of substances and drugs. And there was a sense of liberation in the air due to the fact that this was the ending of Thatcher's reign in England.
Just out of curiosity, what do you think the substances that aren't drugs are? Do you think it's just like don't eat the brown licorice kind of stuff?
Yeah, I it's some sort of hallucinogenic. Absolutely, right?
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely, and especially if you watch the video. So I encourage anyone to check out the band's performance on YouTube. It's quite amazing seeing the crowd there. So here we go, Mark. This is their debut album with Ian Brown on vocals, John Squire on guitars, Manny on bass guitar, and Reni, Reni, on drums. Mark, are you ready to get this party started?
Hell yeah. If that's the kind of show they play, what kind of records do you have for me today? Hey, I tried to make a rhyme. Boo, boo, boo.
You sure did, pal.
Oh, it was bad.
That's good, though. It's okay. Track 1, I Want to Be Adored. What an intro track. I mean, you get this atmospheric buildup to the bass riff. The guitar comes in and it just strums that riff and bam, as if you know that this is going to be something special. This track only has a few set of lyrics, but they're powerful. For example, I don't have to sell my soul. He's already in me. This is like the late Beatles era mixed with the Rolling Stones attitude, with Ian Brown pulling his own set of Jagger moves in the video. Mark, do you want to be adored?
Yeah, man, I really do. But at first I couldn't stand that extended intro because it takes a while before anything really happens. I believe it's a subway train that's coming as kind of like that bass line picks up and the band takes off. But once we're going, man, I was stoked. It's just that long intro out of nowhere kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it.
However, this is one of those amazing albums to put on with a great pair of headphones and just sink into this kind of blissfully poppy rock tune. Frank's Beatles and Stones comparisons are right on. They really do just kind of, you can feel that they've really soaked in that era of the early 60s Beatles and Stones. It's really just so cool. I wish I had this cassette in 1989 so that 7-year-old me could just like ride around the subway of some cool ass town and just look at it pass as the subway goes by. It's a cool ass track, man.
Yeah, totally. Song 2 is She Bangs the Drums. Mark, I feel like this is a song for you since you're our resident drummer, right? I mean, listen, it's a blissful mix of rock and pop. I mean, that chorus is hooky as hell and maintains a rock foundation of its time. The drums, I'm assuming, is in reference to a heartbeat. Regardless, this song just gets stuck in your head, and it's one I actually don't mind having stuck in my head. Mark, what about you?
Oh, man, those like 30-second notes on the hi-hat and the bass intro are just like perfect. This song has so much energy. It's just kind of awesome. This feels like one of those amazing songs in a montage of a not a John Holmes movie, a John Hughes movie.
There you go. Yeah, I can see that.
maybe a great alternative opening to like Pretty in Pink or something. It would be really cool. I like the overly simple lyrics. They add to the song's kind of bubblegumness.
Yes.
But without making it feel cheap. I really like this. It's a fun tune.
It really is. Yeah, absolutely. Track 3, Waterfall. Took me a while, like years actually, to appreciate this song. I'm not saying that this is a concept record by any means, but the last track we get this central figure of she, and then we get the she again, in this song. Listen, mixed with these layered harmonic sounds, we get a person who appears to be regaining their independence. I could see this track being there. Hey, let's jam for a whole while they're playing live. I'm still not sure it's my favorite, but it's definitely entertaining, and I think it's one of the more fascinating tunes. Mark, are you a Waterfall?
Oh wow! So first, thank you for asking. That's none of your business.
Damn it.
Just kidding. I totally am. I dig this fun and funky little. I call it like a world music groove that they have going on here. There's a lot of inspiration.
Yep.
From a lot of different cares. It goes on a bit longer than I care for. And I definitely picked up that whole, like, this is where they're going to jam for a while.
Yeah.
But I dig it other than the fact that it's just too damn long.
Yeah. And the worldly theme that you kind of put to makes perfect sense, because it's like you can't really tell where it's from or even kind of maybe when it's from.
Well, in that late 80s, right? They loved all that world music stuff. Everything from like all the spin-off stuff the Clash was doing to Paul Simon doing his big world music thing then.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a big time for that sound. And I feel like they managed to capture what that Brit pop sound of the time was and work that into it really well.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely.
Really well.
Yeah, I agree. Track 4, Don't Stop. So this is actually the inverse of Waterfall with new lyrics. If you were to play Waterfall backwards, the reverse lyrics sound like the lyrics of this song, and it's an interesting concept. But I don't know. I think could have been a waste of a track here. Mark, did you want this to stop?
Wanted to stop, Frank. I didn't know it was going. I honestly went, oh wait, let me start Don't Stop over, and I was already on the next track, Bye Bye Badman, because I thought it was a long, weird track. I told you I thought that last track went on too long. Yeah, well, that's because I've been listening to it as 2 tracks for the longest time. But because they really do sync up and it turns into this other thing. It's a weird track. I went online, I found it, played backwards and forwards and with waterfalls, edited onto the beginning and edited onto the end. And look, it's a cool enough idea, but I think this is hidden track territory.
Right. Was this needed?
I don't think it was needed. I don't think it was needed here in the middle of the album. Right. Yeah. I mean, the 5th track or 4th track in, like, what are we doing?
Right.
This, to me, you throw this on the end of the cassette.
Let
it be some weird surprise.
Right.
Give me an actual song here.
Yeah. Yeah. This could have been like the reprise before the closer or something of that nature. Right. I agree.
Yeah. Even that would be cool. Or use it as a weird opener.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
But
I agree.
don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. Track 5 is Bye Bye Badman, centering around the riots in Paris in '68. The lemon, of course, the lemon slice on the cover of the album is actually inspired by said riots, which focused on the philosophy of situationalism. It's got this poppy vibe again, but it's also like this English folk vibe, which works with the nature of the sound. It actually caught me off guard, considering most tracks thus far have been the rock of its time, kind of. Mark, what say you on this?
Well, first of all, I want to let our listeners know that we're going to start a Patreon in which Frank will, for $10 a month, Frank will explain what the philosophy of situationalism is, so that you know what we're talking about. Because look, I've already paid my $10. I still don't know. Anyways,
and after I read books, right?
I really like slowing the pace down in the beginning of the song and turning the mood of this album really on a dime. Right, we get that kind of long ending for Don't Stop, but then as Bye Bye Badman comes in, it starts nice and slow, and really you feel the band shift their energy and their focus and build again. By bringing it back up with a fun little rock number that is really cool. It just takes a little while to get there. This intro is really fun and interesting. Really great song from the band here. I love this side of the band. I think that when they're really trying to be this dramatic and this kitschy with their songwriting,
Yeah,
it really works out beautifully for them.
totally. Track 6 is Elizabeth, My Dear. It's another folk type number. I actually personally would have liked if this lasted longer. So anyone listening out there, if there's an extended version, let us know. But Mark, did you want this to last past the minute mark, or are you cool with how short this is?
No, I loved it this length. It adds a ton of atmosphere to the record, helps add a little bit of mystery to the album too, because wait a minute, what is this? Why did it come and why did it go so quickly? I really liked dashing it in there because it shows some of their prowess without exerting themselves and being show-offy.
There you go. That makes sense.
Pew, pew, pew.
There you go. Now, track 7 is Song from My Sugar Spun Sister. It's another rich and ringing song where you could almost hear the melody without the lyrics. Brown is chatting about things that are considered impossible, such as the sky turning green, and for the girl he likes to show appreciation for his admiration to her. I felt like we got some Stones here on the chorus, which was cool because I think it added some edge. Mark, are you my sugar spun sister?
You know it, brother. Absolutely.
Yes.
This is another one of those songs that just sounds like 1989. It's got that bubblegum kind of sweetness to it of the 80s, but the darkness of the alt and indie scene that was just boiling underneath.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I think it's fair to say that this had a huge impact on the grunge scene that we would see coming. I think
had to have.
It's not too far of a misstep. Certainly these guys were big right as that scene was taking off. There was, I'm sure, a lot of shared inspiration.
Yes.
Song for My Sugar Spun Sister is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Then we get, speaking of cool, we get to a song like track 8, Made of Stone. Spoiler, this is my favorite song on the record. This is just an amazingly written song. It's mysterious with the supposed reflection of the events of Jackson Pollock's car crash. We get Brown's lyrics that your white knuckles whiten on the wheel. This is also the second single off the album. And I felt, to me, it's funny how this wasn't in more people's ears during the time, maybe more so in the States. It's just another mystery of the band to me. So they're complete enigma. But Mark, Made of Stone or Made of Fluff?
Ooh, I completely agree with everything you said, Frank. This song is super cool, fun as hell. It's the guitar solo rips and the band totally rocks out and manages to expand their sound well above what you've previously expected out of this record. Really stunning track. Frank, this bad boy is all stone.
Nice.
Yes. I love this track too, by the way.
It's a great song. Great. Track 9, Shoot You Down. Another really impressive track, a tale of a man that's grown tired of the relationship that they're in. Perhaps a reflection he didn't just refuse in the beginning. So it's definitely, again, a reflection piece for sure. That's got a lot of groove and great guitar tone by Squire. That chorus, again, just really comes in and gives it a versatile feel for the record. So Mark, who's shooting you down, by the way?
And nobody shoot me down, Frankster.
Woo!
Yeah. Can we take a moment to acknowledge that Squire is just like the best name?
Oh my God.
To name a kid who will become a guitar player.
Absolutely.
Kind of perfect, right?
Perfect.
I love the way the drums feel like they're rising out of the floor in front of you, just grooving, and the band comes in behind them. There's so much great production here in terms of bringing in the band and when things start to flourish. Really great sounding record. Anyways.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. I love the way the band throws a super fun little R&B vibe in here, just to put a little smile on your face as you kind of bop along to the song. It's just so fucking cool, man.
Yeah,
I love this track too. It's interesting, but Made of Stone and Shoot You Down are probably my two favorite tracks.
Yeah,
the back half of this album is just stacked.
Oof. Yeah, it's so cool. So cool. Track 10, This Is the One. So Ian Brown's a huge Manchester United fan, and this song is actually played at the beginning of every home game. It's insane because those fans are totally into their Manchester United and Manchester teams over there, and that's a big deal. And the fact that this plays at the home games, again, just shows how appreciated the band is in the UK. Mark, was this the one for you?
It sure is, Frank. This track isn't classically cool, but when you sit down with it and let it dig into your brain via your ear, it just becomes part of you. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, it's a bummer that the band like this never got more attention here, man.
Right.
I wish this was around when I was a kid to just again soak more of it up.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting though, right? Like this is the one. It's a rally before the game. It's an odd song for a rally cry, but
That's what I think. Yeah.
but it's just so cool. And maybe with them being like a hometown band and the hometown team, and this is the one we're gonna win this one.
Yeah.
I guess it works. You're the sports head out of the two of us, so you would know better than I would. But I really dig this song, man.
Yeah. No, it's a cool one for sure.
Mhm.
And then we get our final track, I Am the Resurrection, track 11.
Oh,
What a way to end this album with this over 8-minute song. I mean, the song is quite a force. The bass line is stellar and it really anchors everything together. There's some anger in this. So we get some relatable lyrics, whether it be to a particular individual, an institution, religion, whatever it may be. I'm sure this is something we've all felt at one time. But hey, at the same time, we could wrap this around a really cool rock tune. So Mark, am I your resurrection?
are you asking me to blaspheme in your name?
Yes, mine. Yes.
Absolutely, you are. That said, I love this song. It's such a stellar choice as the closer, bookending the album with this 60s jangly number that really has that Rolling Stones vibe that you mentioned earlier, Frank, and having I Want to Adore as the opener is just such a killer move. Right? These two songs really just balance so well. Yeah. Even like the disco break before the outro jam is kind of cool. That said, it all does go on a little bit longer than I'd like, but of course, that's how I get with jam stuff. So,
Jammy
jams.
Well, Mark, that completes the album. So, what was your final thoughts as really going into this with, the first time hearing about them and all that stuff?
But this was a fun record just to like squeeze into your brain for a whole ass week and just walk around with. Yeah. It's got all this groove that I'd say runs the full length of the album in various forms, but really ties the album together in a cool way. I just mentioned how I love the pairing of I Want to Be Adored and I Am the Resurrection as bookends for the album. And I love the way they work to encapsulate the band's sound at that time. It doesn't feel like a concept album to me, but it definitely has its own energy and vibe that allows it to stand together as a very cool album. And each song really stands up on its own, with maybe the exception of Don't Stop.
Right.
Which doesn't add much of anything to the album, short of a few minutes of thinking. Waterfalls goes on way longer than I thought before you realize that it wasn't the song you were listening to. Anyways, I think that's just part of the Stone Roses sound, and whether I like it or not, that's what it is. I really struggled on rating this record because there are so many things I really like about it, but some of the jamming goes on much too long. I already told you how I feel about Don't Stop. So this guy is getting a 6.5 from me. But with that said, I'm still picking this up if I find it in a record store. Don't let my score suggest that I didn't like this album or didn't think that this was a cool band.
That's true.
It is. It just doesn't check all of my boxes. Right. And I think that's part of that balance, right? I still think this is a stellar record. I still think it's worth your time to listen to.
Yes.
It's a 6.5 for me. So it certainly does a lot of things right and has an incredible mood and feel to it. Definitely check out this record Situation. Franco.
So listen, this band, they're just an enigma to me. I mean, they released this amazing debut, and then they had in-ring fighting between Brown and Squire that caused really their momentum to take a nice lumpy poop at the end of the day. After this album, they got into trouble with their various labels due to their crappy management. They actually signed to Geffen. They waited to see, and there were some issues with producers dragging on the sessions, the band not wanting to tour the US, which is maybe why we didn't hear about them. The rotation of the bass players and drummers. Listen, whatever the case is, this album rocks. check out the Spiked Island performance on YouTube. It really captures the generation over there. The songs are masterful. And although I could do without Don't Stop and This Is the One, I Want to Be Adored, She Bangs the Drums, Waterfall, Made of Stone, they're just killer. I give it a 7 out of 5. And again, like there's definitely
7 out of 5.
I'm sorry, a 7.5. Wow. Man, okay, we're cooking here. 7.5 out of 10. There you go. Oh, well, thank you for correcting that, Mark.
No, you're good.
So listen, so last week we played that game, which I thought was fun, with our Shannon the Clams episode, where you mentioned song titles and you said, okay, are they Shannon the Clam songs or Dion? So I kind of took a little bit of page there, and I found some. I was initially going to do Roses or Stones, but again, just because the Rolling Stones are so well known, the minute I say stuff, you're going to be like, oh, that was definitely Keith and Mick and all that stuff.
Oh,
right?
okay. Mm-hmm.
So I got some true or false factoids here for the Stone Roses. So I'm going to list them off, and you're going to say if you think that's true or if you think that's false.
Okay, Stone Roses, true or false?
You got it, my friend.
Hit me.
All right, I'm ready. So here you go. The first one is Ian Brown and John Squire. They became friends at a grammar school for boys. But Brown helped Squire out after a physical altercation, and the two immediately bonded over the Clash and the Sex Pistols. Mark, do you think that that's true, or is that false?
1980 they met, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'm gonna say true.
80 they formed, right?
Oh, okay. So they met a little earlier in grammar school.
Right.
Do we know when this happened? If you're saying that they formed in 80, but
right.
I'm gonna say true. I'm gonna say true.
Okay. So this supposedly happened when they were children.
So I'm right.
Yes, you are right. Yeah. It is true. Woo! Yay! Woo! All right. So the next true or false is that all 4 members were arrested and charged after painting the office walls of their former label, in the fact that the former label reissued their 1987 single Sally Cinnamon without permission. Do you think that this is true, that all 4 members got arrested?
I'm going to say false.
That actually is true. French.
Dang, all 4 of them. I thought it would be one of those things where like just the 2 guys that started the band, or like
yes,
you know, just some drummer they were going to fire anyways. I don't know. All right.
All right. So the band, opened for New Order and Pixies in the U.S.
The band,
right?
Opened for the New Order.
Right.
Okay. So the group that opened for Bob Dylan,
right.
Bob Dylan's backing band,
right?
They opened for New Order and who?
And Pixies.
Wow. I didn't realize they were slumming it back then. That's cool. Oh, this is the next question.
Right. So,
okay.
Right. Did the Stone Roses open for Pixies and New Order in the U.S.? What do you think?
I'm going to say false, because you said they didn't like to tour the U.S.
Right. And and Ian Brown stated that the Stone Roses have never supported anybody in their life, and they see no reason as why they should do it now.
Oh, wow. They never wanted to be an opening band, huh?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. Dang.
True or false, Mark?
Okay.
When John Squire left the band, Slash from Guns N' Roses offered to take his place. I know.
I'm going to say false again.
That is actually true.
What? No way.
Slash offered, but obviously he didn't get it. But Slash offered to take the place.
Wow.
I know.
All right.
I know. So, Mark, Ian Brown once told The Guardian that the Stone Roses' original mission was to rid the world of huge bands such as Pink Floyd. Do you think that that's true or false?
I'm going to say true.
It's false.
Oh!
Because it wasn't Pink Floyd. It was U2.
I wish he would have gotten rid of U2.
It was U2. So Ian Brown once told The Guardian that the Stone Roses' original mission was to rid the world of huge bands like U2.
Fucking A, dude. I like these guys more and more every time we talk about them.
True or false, I Am the Resurrection was actually inspired by Paul McCartney's bass playing in the Beatles song Taxman.
True.
Correct. You are
Yeah.
right. Woo-hoo.
Man.
I know.
Woo. All right.
Yeah.
That explains why that song felt so familiar.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
In 2011, Brown told the publication that he would need to be down to his last chicken dinner with regards to reviving the Stone Roses for a reunion.
When was this?
2011.
False.
So he did say that. However, though, in 2011, they did have a reunion. So it's kind of like one of those half truths.
Damn it. Yeah. I guess he was down to his last chicken dinner.
I know. Winner,
right.
Chicken dinner. So is Sally Cinnamon the influence in the Sally that's used in the Oasis song, Don't Look Back in Anger? True or false? So Sally can wait. I'm
going to say false.
So it's another one of those where that wasn't the intent, but one day when Noel Gallagher was playing Don't Look Back in Anger, Liam comes in and says, "Oh, I hear Sally, so this must be from Sally Cinnamon." So, it's kind of one of those. Yeah.
Fucking Oasis, man.
I know. All right, last two. Here we go. So Ian Brown had a cameo role in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. True or false?
False.
True.
What?
Yes.
God damn it.
He had a cameo.
Who was he in the Prisoner of Azkaban? Was he the rat?
What you mean? What was that? Scabbers? You mean? Here, actually, you know what? I should have more.
Oh no, that was Bono's.
He's a wizard in the Leaky Cauldron, reading A Brief History of Time. So there you go.
Sure. Can't believe I missed that.
Oh my God. Okay. And lastly, because Ian Brown seems very interesting, do you think that his Twitter handle says the following: singer, songwriter, record maker, producer, performer, solo, Stone Roses, anarchist?
True.
That is correct.
No!
Yeah.
Woo.
You did good, man. You did good.
4 out of 10, man. That was not good.
Well, I mean, it depends what you.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, I knew nothing about this band going.
That's what I'm saying. There's context, pal. Context.
Oh man.
Well, Mark, that was fun. Do you want to tell the kids out there what we have planned next week?
Well, actually, Frank, I have a game for you.
Oh, I can. Oh,
we're gonna play Jeopardy style. I'm gonna read you 4 categories. You will pick a category based on that, and then I will give you a question. And if you can answer that question correctly, you've answered that question correctly, and I'll tell you what the album is. If you do not, you'll have answered that question wrong, and I will tell you what the album is. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, check out this record Jeopardy. Here we go.
Yep.
Category 1, even Vikings get the blues. Category 2, albums people think we really should know by now, but we don't. Category 3, babes. And category 4, living up to names that never fit until they did. And now I want to throw this out there because I don't want to get sued by the actual Jeopardy people. There is a double.
Oh, good.
In one of those categories. So. All
right. So I'm going to go with number 2.
Number 2.
The albums that people thought we
really
should have heard by now.
Should know by now, but we don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Question 1.
Yes.
Name this new wave debut album brought to us by the founding members, Kurt and Roland. I do have a second question for this one if you want it.
Please.
The band's follow-up album had the number 1 hit, Shout, and another number 1 hit.
And Shout, and then had a number 1 hit. Tears for Fears.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's right. We're gonna do Tears for Fears 1983 debut album, The Hurting.
Oh,
which apparently we should know.
So, okay, you're funny because I was literally thinking about them the other day in the sense where I'm like, I don't know if I honestly, outside of like the hits, Mad World and things like that, do I know of really a lot of their stuff. So this is great.
Yeah. Well, the good news is Mad World's on this album.
Oh, good.
So there will be a familiar note. And then there's a bunch of stuff you've never heard.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
Excellent.
I can't wait. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man. That was fun, Mark.
Thank you.
I'm pumped.
You're on the next line.
Yeah, I am. Exactly. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening. Remember to like, subscribe, rate, review, and stay safe out there.
Yeah. Hey, thanks so much for checking out another episode of the podcast with us. Say it with me, meow. Oh, my. Oh, hell yes. Oh. Bye-bye. Recording has ended.